welcome to my channel. My name is Jenny. I'm from Jenny Card Designs. Thanks so much for stopping by today. I created this YouTube channel to share handmade card inspiration and tutorials with all of you. So if you like this content, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. I'd love to have you along my journey. In today's video, I'm going to be doing 5 cards, 1 kit using the Simon Says Stamp August 2019 monthly card kit, Party Like a Panda. Okay, let's jump in with the first card. I'm going to use the balloons to create a background using Gina K Designs Premium Dye Ink. This is the soft stone. I'm just going to fill in the background, and I'll use some of the smaller stamps to fill in the empty spaces. I'll use the little stars cluster and then the heart. And I'm just going to use some colored pencils just to scribble color those in. I lost a little bit of footage here. I cut out a scallop frame through my card base to create a little window. I used a piece of acetate and sandwiched that between another piece of cardstock to create a backer so you get a nice clean look. I'll get that glued to my front panel, and then we've got our little window, and I'll use the leftover scallop frame and glue that on the inside of the card to create a frame for my sentiment. So I've got 2 little pandas that I colored in and fussy cut. I'll glue the first one holding a balloon to the front of the card, and then I'll put the little guy on the inside to create a little hidden image. I'll stamp my happy birthday with VersaFine Onyx Black ink with an extra little sub-sentiment. And then I decided to create a little party hat. I'll get that colored in and fussy cut that out and glue that on top of my panda. And then I'm going to call this card done. So here is a close-up look at the finished card. I think it's cute with a little hidden panda behind that window there. That's it for card number 1. Okay, card number 2, I used the sad little panda stamp. The sentiment reads, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I missed the party." I used VersaFine Onyx Black ink to stamp the sentiment and my panda, and I'm going to use my watercolor shimmer paints. These are just the Recollections brand from Michaels. They're just a cheap little palette, but they add a lot of shimmer to your project. So I'm just going to paint my panda in, just basic painting, no shading, nothing, just laying down the color on top of the panda to give that shimmery look. And I'll heat set that to make sure it's all dried up so I don't smudge anything or mix the colors. Here is a look at the panda with all of his shimmer. I decided to go in and add a little bit of grounding to the panda because he was floating in the air, so I painted a bit of a shadow underneath him, and I sopped up any of that extra water with my microfiber cloth, and I think that's going to be it for this guy. I'm just going to choose a color card base to coordinate with my panda. I couldn't decide. I had a bunch of colors there, so I decided to put a black mat behind him to make him pop out a little bit. And I'll get that all adhered to my black panel, and I'm going to pop everything up with some foam tape to add a little bit of dimension. I feel like the foam tape behind the card is just steps it up a little bit. I still haven't settled on my color card base. I do end up going with the teal card base, and I'll use my craft knife to help me pull up the release paper. Sometimes it's really sticky and I can't get it off, so I just use my craft knife. So I'm going to add a sentiment on the inside. I'm going to use another piece of black cardstock and a white panel for the inside frame, and I'll stamp the inside using the greetings from the set, and it will say, "I'm so sorry, happy birthday." I like this little guy. He turns out to be my most favorite card. He's the cutest little panda ever. And that's going to be it for card number 2. Card number 3, I'm going to use my watercolor palette again, the same shimmer paints. I'm just going to create a quick wash on my background. I'm using some watercolor paper, and I'll just wet it a little bit with some clean water, and then I'll drop my colors on top. I'm not spending any time blending the backgrounds. I'm just going to let the water do its work and blend the colors together. It's just a simple quick wash of color, and I'm going in rainbow order to make sure I don't get any yucky brown colors. I'll use my heat tool to get everything dried up. Here is a look at the shimmer that these paints provide. And then I'm going to slip this into my Misti. I'll choose 2 of the stamps. I'll choose the happy balloons and then the birthday. And I'll stamp those up using VersaFine Onyx Black ink, making sure I get a nice crisp transfer of ink. And I'm going to pop that up with some foam tape on a gray card base. I'm going to use some sequins from my stash using a craft knife and a jewel picker to help me set them down. And then that's going to be it for this card. And here's a close-up look, and that's it for card number 3. Card number 4 is going to be a shaker card, and I have these little shaker pouches. I'm going to use the circle die to cut a circle in the front of my card base to slip my little shaker pouch in. I use an adhesive remover to take away any sticky stuff from my washi tape where I tape down and die cut. I'm going to put some adhesive around the window and get my shaker pouch glued in. I'm going to fill it with a bunch of little birthday confetti I have in my stash, and then I'm going to use a white panel to adhere that to the back of my shaker to close in all my bits. And then I'm going to adhere this to another panel. I stamped a bunch of presents and the panda, and I left this part in because I wanted to show you how I change gears in the middle. I put a blue mat behind my panel, and I didn't like it. I ended up peeling up the blue mat and pulling in a piece of pattern paper from the kit. I think it just matched a little bit better. I also didn't like the placement of the party hat, but there was not much I could do about that, so I just went ahead and colored everything in and just left it as is. I stamped a sentiment. It reads, "This party is going to be stew pandas." And then on the inside I stamped happy birthday. And then that's going to be it for card number 4. Here's a close-up look at it. For card number 5, I've got the little panda with the party hat. I cut out a small scallop square with this cute little stitching inside of it. This is a die I have in my stash. I stamped the panda with VersaFine Onyx Black ink. I pulled in a piece of black cardstock from my stash and I stamped the words "Party Time." I used Gina K Designs embossing ink, and I also used my anti-static powder bag to make sure the embossing powder doesn't stick where I don't want it. The embossing powder I'm using is Brutus Monroe Alabaster. This is my favorite white embossing powder. So I heat set that, and I was going through the pattern paper deciding which paper I wanted to use. I wasn't sure where I was going with this card. I was just kind of winging it as I went along, and it turned out really cute. So I cut the strip of the sentiment using my Tim Holtz tonic trimmer. I used the edge of the trimmer guide so that I get a nice straight strip with my sentiment. I chose a piece of pattern paper and I put a black mat behind it, and I glued all that down to my card base. I decided to pop up my panda with a little bit of foam tape, and I brought in another piece of blue cardstock that I think matched the pattern paper nicely. I just created kind of an offset geometric look, and I colored my panda with a bunch of random alcohol markers I have from my stash. I have just a bunch of different brands of the colors that I love. And then I used the shimmer pen that came in the panda kit. I brought in a few sparkly gems from my stash, and then I turned my attention to the inside of the card. I stamped the sentiment in there, and it says, "Party like a panda because birthdays only happen once a year. Happy birthday." And that's going to be it for card number 5. Here is a look at all 5 of the cards that we made here today. I hope you've enjoyed this video and gotten a little bit of inspiration for your Party Like a Panda monthly card kit from Simon Says Stamp. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend it here with me. I truly appreciate all of the support, the likes, the thumbs up, and especially when you subscribe. Remember to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you like the content here today, so that YouTube knows I'm doing my job right. Any of the products I used here today will be listed in the description below, along with my social media links. Please note that none of my links are affiliate, and I do not benefit monetarily in any way. I have not been asked to showcase any of these products for you today. All of the products shown in this video I've purchased with my very own money, and this video is purely just me sharing information with you. I hope that you like it and have a wonderful day.